Hello everyone, this is Harriet Velasco here and I'm here for the review of Shang Chi. So, in a span of 3 months, I have waited to watch this movie in a clear version. I have an HD rip of Shang Chi in my inventory of videos and I watched it, but unfortunately it was blurry, there were no subtitles, and it's like 50% of the movie is in Mandarin, so I did not really get the whole plot, to be honest. That being said, before we start the review of Shang-Chi 3 months later, I want you all to leave a like, maybe subscribe, comment what you think about the movie. A healthy discussion is a fruitful discussion. Also, if you don't mind the delivery, you can just mute the video because I'm technically just farming for watchers. I've met the requirements of the subs. I'm just going to get the watch hours. I'm sitting at 1,461 watch hours on my videos. So if you just don't like my accent, my delivery, I am Filipino by the way. So English is not my native language. If you don't like my accent, my delivery, my review of Shang-Chi, you could just mute the video, leave it just playing on the background, and I will still get views, to be honest. And also, I am stretching out this intro just to meet the criteria of views. And yeah, so what do we expect on this review? We have a few categories, to be honest. We will review Shang-Chi since we all know as a global audience what happened on this movie because this has been released 3 months ago. We are going to do the following format. We are going to review Shang-Chi based on the graphics, which means we will cover the CGI. We know there's a lot of dragons here. So there. We are also going to review the soundtrack, how it fares, how does the delivery of the lines work. We are going to review the story. So about the story, pretty simple. It's pretty simple. If I like the plot, we're just going to do it. I think I'm not gonna narrate the whole story, unlike my previous videos. Watch them. It's Arcane Acts 1 and 2. They are now sitting at 1,000 views on YouTube. And I don't know. I don't know how it pop up. I hope this video will pop off. But if it doesn't, it's fine. But I don't get the watch hour, so I'm sad. Yeah. So I'm just gonna give my opinion on the story. Also, there will be a public service announcement from our sponsors. Don't worry, guys. We got the right sponsor for this video. We got it in the right language. Perfect for the theme of Shang-Chi. We are going to review the choreography, which means the fight scenes. So we're gonna tackle that. By fight scenes, I mean the style, how it was presented, like that, and the replayability. What I mean by replayability is how often will you go back to Shang-Chi? Is it a must watch to be replay? Is it something that you watch when you're bored? Is it a filler, a fodder, if you're waiting for the next big thing? Or if you want something to watch during the Metro Manila Film Festival? And the overall score of Shang-Chi. So, without further ado, without staggering this further, I'm going to go to the graphics review of Shang-Chi. For the graphics of Shang-Chi, the CGI is pretty nice. I've seen the dragon, I've seen the Dark Dweller. They were animated pretty nicely. Of course, the 10 rings are really what stole the show for me. Their animation of the attacks are pretty nice. Although I was when I was watching the blurred version of the HD cam version of Shang-Chi, I expected a Kamehameha as Katie said in the end of this movie at the very end of the movie, and I didn't get to see a Kamehameha because it was so blurry. But now I've seen the Blu-ray version. There was no Kamehameha. It was more of a Hadouken. So what gives? Now, enough with that nitpicking. I say the graphics are good. Uh, I think if I watch it in really, really high definition, it would still be obvious the green screen is going to be separated with the computer generated graph images. So, yeah. I think the presentation as well on Shang-Chi, the design of the costumes are pretty slick. That dragon armor you see in this picture over here is pretty well designed. And Ling also has a greatly designed costume. Wen Wu has a great designed costume. What else can I say about the graphics? It's Marvel. They've done pretty good graphics in the past, so there's no arguing it's gonna have a high score. I think I will rate it a 4 out of 5 in terms of the graphical presentation of Shang-Chi. Now for the sound. The basic sound, the background music, they're fine. There's nothing rave about. I think the songs perfect for Shang-Chi is the real songs. I mean, Out of the Old, In with the New from the post-credit scene was the appropriate soundtrack when Ling is now going to run the Ten Rings organization. But the real kicker here, banger kicker of a soundtrack here is Hotel California by the Eagles, I think. I think the comedic scene at the mid-credit scene is pretty lit. Hotel California is a great song. I like it. I used to sing it in the karaoke, like Shang-Chi. But the basic music, the background music, the ambience, they're pretty much standard for an Asian film. I say the delivery of the lines as well are pretty nice. The audio level is kinda normalized. I think we've this is I can't complain about a normal audio level. I'm not expecting that much on there, but I was expecting more from the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack of Shang-Chi, carried by Hotel California, I give it 3 out of 5. Now for the story. What the most closest thing I can relate Shang-Chi to is Black Panther. I think this is an Asian Black Panther coming of age story. I like the comedic scenes where Shang-Chi was named Sean. Katie is a great, what's the right term? I think I don't know, I don't remember the term about Katie, but she is the best mood lightener. I don't know if it's the proper term, the one that lightens up the mood, the perky one, so to say. Katie is a great Shang-Chi friend. I might say about Wen Wu, I think Wen Wu is a great father. Now, don't get me wrong, he led his son to look at a murder spot, but I think Wen Wu did it out of love. He clearly loves his son, and he's a depressed man. So a depressed man is like something they tend to do to not rationalize on their situation. He ends up fighting his son at the end, but he also ends up saving his son at the end. I think, for my opinion, Wenwu is a great father. Shang-Chi is a great fighter. And we can talk about that on the choreography, but all I can say is his development as developed as a trained assassin, now a normal college student, a valet, his transition to become a future Avenger, a future superhero, and his only superpower is his body. That's like the Shang-Chi of the comics. That's like the point of Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi doesn't need superpowers. His mental growth, his abilities being monk esque, his physical strength, that's his power. His immense training, that's his power. And what I like about Shang-Chi is his powers grow naturally. It's from training. There's still training when they went to the village of Talo. And I think that is the main focal point of this story, training. Training is succeeding. Katie, I mean, she's like me who doesn't shoot for the goals, but Katie achieved her goals. I mean, she took down a Dark Dweller's throat for of all the good reasons. What else? Oh yeah, Trevor from Iron Man 3 is back on this film. He serves as a comic relief. He is along with Morris, who looks like an ass with wings. I think that's the best way I can describe Morris. What more can I say about the story? I wish the only flaw that I see is Death Dealer. He's a badass in the comics. I wish he had more scenes and he didn't go down like a pussy. Also, I'm practically annoyed by the guy with the knife hand. I mean, really, he lived longer than the Death Dealer. What's up with that? I wish he died. Well, technically, the Death Dealer is mute. So, but in my opinion, I wish he was the one who died and not the Death Dealer. Zhualing, she's cute, but I think her overall character development falls down when she decides to run the Ten Rings organization instead of taking it down, because she was on a heroic path with her brother throughout the film, only to become a an anti-hero, a villain, a terrorist at the end. No, no, that's not right. I understand you need the 10 rings to return, but come on, man. Schwaling? Really? You spent like 2 hours of the film developing her as a good person, growing up with, now experiencing what it's like to have a brother now, and then she goes to the dark side. I think that I give the story 4 out of 5, I guess. Just for the flaws, for the few nitpicks. It redeemed Iron Man 3's comedic sense that Trevor is a fake Mandarin, while giving the Mandarin name a proper, what's it called, etymology. Now, a word from our sponsors.
早上好，中国！现在我有冰淇淋，我很喜欢冰淇淋，但是速度与激情就比冰淇淋速度与激情就我最喜欢，所以现在是音乐时间，准备1、2、3。
Choreography. The fight scenes are good. The hand to hand combat is good. The close quarters combat is good. I think my only problem is the close quarter combat, the martial arts. They look like they're dancing instead of fighting, and that kind of irks me in a way. I mean, Wenwu and his wife fought in the very first few minutes of the movie, and they're not actually fighting, they're like dancing. And I don't understand that. Also, I don't like the kung fu trope that they flex out their fists and then pulls it in like they're holding punches or something. Also, what's the deal with closed fist and open fist? I don't know if it gives more power, if it gives more force in the attack. Yeah. But the choreography is nice. The what can I say? The actors are not stiff. I think that's the right word. They're not stiff in their fight sequences. And Wenwu, I got to give credit to the actor. He looks scrawny as fuck, but he can sure put up a good fight scene with that scrawny body of his. He's more graceful than the guy with the dagger arm. I think he's more graceful than Shang-Chi. Even though Shang-Chi in the bus scene, which I think is one of the best scenes in MCU, the bus fight scene, Shang-Chi was so graceful in that fight. His motions are fluid. He's like a he's like Spider-Man in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 in the train, but more graceful in motion. And I think graceful is the right word. I just don't like the kung fu tropes and the fact that most of the fight scenes look like dance sequences. 3.5 out of 5. Talking about replayability, I think Shang-Chi is very replayable, but not that replayable that you will watch for it more often than not. I think its replayability is somewhat of you're bored, it's a rainy day, and you decide what good movie to watch. And Shang-Chi is one of the choices. You go for Shang-Chi. That's my take on replayability. I don't know how to score this. Maybe I'll give it a middle 3 out of 5 for replayability. Again, this isn't the movie that you will watch often. It's a movie you will watch from time to time when you're down in the dumps. If you want some good laps, good moments, Shang-Chi is your film. Overall, Shang-Chi is exceeded my expectations on the movie. I watch it on the blurred version. I watch it now on the HD version. It is a good, fun movie. I think it's one of the better products of the MCU that has brought out in 2021. I mean, I'm guaranteeing that it's going to be better than the fucking Eternals. So, my overall score for Shang-Chi is a generous 3.5 out of 5 on average based on the scores tallied by the review categories. So, yeah, Shang-Chi 3.5 out of 5. Now, let's go out there and shit on Eternals.